Hey guys, Corey from Aquariumcoop. Today's another day in the fish room. It's sunny outside. It's also Thanksgiving, so if you're watching this you realize, oh yeah, Thanksgiving is a few weeks ago, but because I shoot videos more than one day a week, videos come out not in real time. So I'm outside right now because it's warm for a change, or at least the sun's shining, but super cold. It's Thanksgiving. Ground's all frozen. My ponds are starting to freeze over. Luckily, last time you watched a video, I was winterizing and taking care of the hose bibs and things like that. I turned off my pump for my filtration here. I still have aeration running, and that's why my koi pond isn't completely frozen over here. So we've got some ice. Let me kind of demonstrate how thick this is. It's not crazy thick or anything like that. But the bubbles I'm running over there, which I'm running a pretty heavy-duty air pump, is keeping that from freezing over completely, which is nice for oxygen for my koi. And if we take water temp here, we're basically at freezing at this surface here, so we want to make sure we keep the chill off. So that's what we're doing there with the air pump. And you can see over here this air stone kind of fell out, so it's basically completely frozen in that little pond there. But yeah, so I figure while it's the sun is shining a little bit and it's starting to thaw the ground a tiny bit, I might try and go ahead and drill a tank or two today. See how long I can stand it with freezing cold water and the drill. I'd wager this, since it's been sitting outside, this is probably, oh, maybe it's not frozen. Nope, the sun thawed it for me, so that's good. But yeah, so I'm going to try and drill this tank real quick. See how much I can get done on Thanksgiving. This is what a fish room will do to you. It'll actually make you addicted to your fish room and think, oh, I could be sitting in there waiting for stuff to cook. Or I can be out here changing water and working on the fish room. You can see my beard here. I haven't shaved in a couple of days, so this is true fish room enjoyment here. I'm wearing just a hoodie. There's no work today or anything. So yeah. So the goal, I'm hoping I can just get some quick things done. I say quick, but really I mean things will go smoothly. And so I'm hoping to put a 40 here and a 40 down low. And what that's going to allow me to do is then I can run my auto water change lines, and that'll alleviate some of the work I'm doing. I had a leak. I had a bulkhead that wasn't quite tight enough, and it leaked some water on the floor, which was this tank right here. And I think I loosened it when I was installing this elbow to go up, so I tightened it down, and I think that's going to do it. But, it's a good thing to have concrete floors and a dehumidifier. I didn't even mop it up or anything. It'll take care of itself, so that's nice. I'm running some experiments here. In the background you can hear I'm filling my water tank, so that's what I'm doing there. But I'm running some experiments with the heaters here. I've got this kind of ceramic heater, and then I've got an oil-filled heater. And I know oil-filled heaters are much more efficient, but it doesn't seem to be heating enough. For it being so cold outside, my fish room temp was just dropping, and so I feel like I can't use that yet. So I'm using that one. It's probably costing me more money to use it. But until I insulate the attic, which I've got planned for Tuesday, I've got Russ, my employee, is going to help me and get into that tiny space you've seen that I can't fit into. We're going to blow in insulation, and I'm hoping once that is in, I won't be losing so much heat through the ceiling here, and it'll become where I can use lesser heat, or even, if I'm good enough, which I still think I'm a ways out from sealing up enough stuff that the lights themselves will hold temp. But I'm going to install a few lights today as well. I've got at least 4 more 40s that need lights, that type of thing, and every time you add something that requires power, it's going to produce heat, and so You know, the more things that I need to have anyway, like lights, is kind of, it's not free heating, but I was already going to light it anyway. And so, yeah, it looks like we're losing one of the Oscars that got shipped in. Unfortunately, that's just kind of a numbers game. Looks like I've fought off any of the ick they had. They had some spots on their fins and things like that, but no longer. So I'll get these guys nice, fat, and happy, and then the game of trying to find them a home. Hopefully another store will want them or something like that, because 40 Oscars just, you know, run havoc in my store. The zebras are coming around pretty nicely. They came in with more body weight, so they're thriving. The yellow lab's still struggling to put body weight on them. It's only been a couple of days, but I've lost a couple. You know, I had some that came in dead on arrival, and then it looks like I've lost 2 more. And part of the problem is when you get a fish where its stomach is what I call pinched in. So it's, you know, it's a fish that, let's say, is this big, and the stomach, where, you know, normally it'd be nice and round, it's pinched in flat. Sometimes they get beyond the point where they can no longer eat, and so literally the stomach is shrunk so much that it can't hold food. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. That's kind of on the wholesalers. You know, like, yeah, they're gonna fast the fish before they ship it, but that kind of sunken inness is either A, it had something wrong with the fish, like, you know, liver failure, kidney failure, that type of thing. Could be internal parasites, and that's why we always deworm our fish. It could be that it just didn't get fed enough, or it was getting outcompeted. There's that too. Or if you have, you know, so I've got 300 labs here. Let's say you had 3,000 or 30,000 in a very large pond. There's times when, well, they're just the youngest, they're not getting fed. You know, that being said, all these fish came in skinny, so it wasn't like 5 out of 300 were having a problem. It was all 300 having a problem. My camera's going wonky here, just trying to adjust to that light behind me, so change angle here. But yeah, so my goal is get a couple more tanks set up. Nothing huge, you know, I say nothing huge, but it might take me all day. And get auto water changing. I've tested the water in these tanks that are a little cloudy because they're bacterial blooming and catching up. But no nitrates and nitrites, things like that. I've been changing enough water, it's not a problem. So yeah, I'll check back in. You know, there might only be a couple updates today. I could quit at any moment if it's, you know, food time or I just get lazy. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work. Well, I still have sunlight to drill. So it's 2:30, still working. Got this 40 breeder broken down. And I thought I would show you an update, because this is the controversial subject of my channel. It always stands, because apparently no one believes anything will ever hold a fish tank. But, so this is one of the 40 breeder Lowe's stands. This is exactly, it's actually the exact one I set up in the video, which these two were already running at that point. And so you can see here, particle board so far, held up just fine. You can even see I got a little wet at some point. You know, I don't remember getting it wet, but you know, so we're what, a year and a half or something like that now, and so far it appears that there's no bowing, because there shouldn't be. You know, people worry about that. All the weight was on the corners here on the metal trim, which also held up just fine. This is mostly just to keep the actual stand from racking. So yeah, I just wanted to show people that, you know, and try to explain that when I'm showing you guys stuff, I'm showing you something I genuinely think will work, or else I wouldn't put it up myself. Now that doesn't mean that I can't be wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm always gonna have the best advice, but I do a lot of things with fish tanks, and you know, I wouldn't have put this in my house that was a rental if I didn't think it was going to hold up. I had it here in my garage, I moved it, it has held up great, still holding up great. I had no idea what it was going to look like underneath. Still looks, you know, essentially from that little water line from wherever I got it wet, which it didn't even swell, so I must not have gotten it very wet, which, you know, obviously I'm not trying to get things wet. But, you know, it pretty much looks like day one, and maybe I'll show you a couple more. I'm not taking any more down today, but, you know, like that one, Those, well, let's see. This one might be my oldest tank ever on these stands. So, you know, maybe when I get to that one, I'll shoot a video and, you know, we'll see what it looks like. But I imagine it's going to look just like this. So, you know, these stands are going to hold more stuff. I know these stands, like, you know, press board is very weak. If I was using this in my laundry room and I had jugs of laundry detergent, this would have given away by now. But because we're not using this particle board, that's why in the videos and the comments I tell people, you certainly can beat this up. I haven't, because this is not a structural support. So I'm using only the metal, and yeah. So now I'm going to go drill this tank. That's the whole reason I took this tank down. It's not because I was afraid or anything like that. It's that I need to drill a hole in this tank, and then it needs to go, you know, kind of where that can of fish food's sitting. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I'll probably check in after the first coat of paint or something like that, because I got 2 tanks to paint, finish off that rack, and you know, eventually I'm going to eat some Thanksgiving food. But you know, the aquarium addiction is strong. I can let the fish room get in the way of Turkey Day, not Mexican food though. So we'll see you later. Well, I come out to drill my tank, and of course I discover a problem. The tank, or one of the spigots we insulated just 2 days ago, has already failed. And so now I gotta find an access to turn it off if I can without shutting all the water off to the fish room. But you can see here, I'm just gonna pull this off. So this is literally the insulation thing I bought for this one. And you can see there's like a pinhole. So yeah, so now I gotta be able to shut the water off. I'm gonna have to repair that. You know, in theory, Google and the internet says that insulation covers, or not insulation, but not soffit covers. God, I'm doing way too many insulation things. Hose bib covers should work in a temperate climate like this, where, you know, it's only getting 25, 30 degrees. It's warming up during the day, that type of thing. And but apparently, it's not working. So it's gonna delay the projects. You know, it's always something. So let me put this back on, at least so I don't get soaking wet while I'm trying. I'm gonna see, you know, being a new house to me, I'm hoping down this hole, you can see a little bar there. I'm hoping that is a remote shut off just for this, bib, because the only other shutoffs I know, I've got one that's way back underneath my house that runs out here. I might have one in the fish room here. I know it connects, but I don't know. I'm going to take a look at this one first. It's behind my trash can here. You guys can come on an adventure with me. You can see if this is going to be the worst time of my life, stopping a leak in the cold, or is this going to be easy? I mean, I know I can stop. I can shut the water off, but that also stops the water in my fish room, which I really don't want to be doing that. Creepy spider. What's up? So this is, I've got one right here, garden shut off. So let's hope that if I turn this off, let me go ahead and shut this down here. A lot of travel in this thing. Hopefully it's alright. That's shut down. Now let's see if I have water in the fish room. That's the first thing to check, because that's, you know, it might stop the problem out there, but if it stops my water in here, that's a problem. So let me take a look. Looks like still plenty of water pressure. Okay. Now let me go outside here. Now this is definitely one of those where we cross our fingers and hope that the bib out there has stopped leaking. Now I'm going to have to repair that, you know, when it warms up again, you know, but that's, I suppose, a small price to pay to learning your new home that has lots of faucets and, you know, stuff like that. I'm not hearing water dripping. That's a good sign. So let's take a trip over here. Oh, I'm seeing some water drip. That's not the sign I want to see. Oh, but it's much much more down. So now I can open it and let the water drain out. So we can come on an adventure with me. I may as well, yeah, water's draining out, and I'll put this back on, I suppose. But this is slippery. I'm gonna die there. Let's check, see if garden shut off counts this garage one too or not. So let's see, I took off this little cover. Nope, garage still has water on the outside as well. I'm gonna put this thing back on to hopefully help. I mean, that other one works so well, you know. But I figure $3, hopefully it's doing something, but there's not a lot I can do besides shut water off all the way, which I don't want to do. So, it's nice to know that that shut off I did have is behind the garbage can and will shut off to the garden. I'm going to chalk that up to new homeowner mistake. Should have, you know, I made an attempt to winterize. Well, let's, you know, an attempt. I'm not going to say I made the best attempt, because clearly I could have done better and not caused that blowout there in that pipe. That sucks. But crisis averted for at least today. And now I'm going to drill that tank before it gets way too much colder. But as always, I'm sharing the trials and tribulations of a fish room. And the reason why I show you that is because if I didn't have this fish room, I would have shut water down to this whole area. The whole fish, the whole garage, outside, all that would have been taken care of. But because I have a fish room out here, I didn't. And that's how it ties into a fish room, is you get into trouble you don't even know is coming yet. You know, next year I'll be way more prepared. You know, the minute we stop watering the garden, or I'm doing water changes on the koi, when I shut those down, could have shut down all the water out there. It would have been awesome. So back to work for me. A little bit of a downer. You know, that's not the highlight to my turkey day, but I'm glad I found it. If I hadn't been working in the fish room, I wouldn't have found it. Would have come in, you know, woke up tomorrow or whatever, and oh god, my yard's flooded / it's all ice. So, all right, check in later. It's 4 o'clock. Got tanks painting. I got the second coat on. Now it's kind of a race between getting these set up and dinner time. I've got the first row of fill lines, or whatever, taps you want to call it. I've got that installed, well, run. So I you know, piece it all together still, but I've got one more line to do, and then I can be working on this while it's drying. Then I just have to throw 2 bulkheads in and tie it into the drain, and hopefully I'll be able to test the system and you know, go hang out with my wife, eat dinner, pet the dog, that type of thing. So I'm going to get back to it and hopefully wrap this up as soon as possible. Well, looks like I'm done for the day. What time is it? It's 5:30, time to go eat. Let's take a look what I got done. Got plumbing tied in here. This is a water change system. Looks like, so far anyway, knock on wood, I am leak free. Yeah, so got this tied in, that's nice. So everything's auto water changing at the moment, testing the system. Got 2 more tanks plumbed in here. So we've got this one going in, and then we've got this one going in. Got them painted. So if we come around here, we now have kind of a full rack. You can see I've just got some extra long lines here because I don't have any tops or anything on these yet. Just starting to fill up. No light on this tank yet. I did get a light on the Oscar tank. Put a top on there as well, and some gravel because I had to move it out of one of the tanks to do it. So yeah, so that'll help. Zebras, and then we've got the yellow labs down there. And so yeah, even on Thanksgiving, got a bunch done. Successful day. I'm glad to get this out of the way because I know I'm going to get busy with insulation on the ceiling and things like that, and I've been doing lots of water changes on these tanks that I brought fish in, and I'd rather automate it. So Yeah, so now that it's automating every day, it should keep up. I'm still going to check on them and make sure that they're going okay, but I won't be as diligent about having to change water all the time on these. So now, with the fish rooms like this, I can get back to a point where I could focus maybe on doing some tanks and things like that, not necessarily having to expand more tanks right away. So I might work on getting some of these things filled with things, aquascapes, that type of thing, because there's starting to be a lot of tanks just stacked up with nothing in them so far. So that gives me a reason to work on that. But I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. That's, you know, weeks in the past at this point. But I know I did. I got to do what I want to do, and that was work on the fish room. So if you like what we're doing, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Make sure you check out our other videos. On Tuesdays, we have quick tips. On Thursdays, the fish room video that you're watching right now. Fridays, another video that I put out. Usually I'm building something or showing you how to do something. And then on Sundays, we have Real Fish Talk with me and Lamont, where we tackle your guys' questions and give you all the advice that we've amassed so far. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.